In the chaotic, electrifying world of Hollywood, few figures are as mysterious, magnetic, and mythical as Jack Nicholson. With his signature arched eyebrows, a grin that could chill your spine, and a career spanning more than half a century, Nicholson isn't just a star. He's a cinematic archetype. He personified madness, mischief, and mastery all at once. From his rebellious beginnings in the 1960s to his quiet retreat from the spotlight in the 2010s, Jack Nicholson's journey through fame has been anything but ordinary. This is not just a tale of fame, film, and fortune. This is a story of secrets, intensity, genius, and the evolution of a man who defined what it meant to be an unpredictable icon. Welcome to the complete journey of Jack Nicholson, then versus now. John Joseph Nicholson was born on April 22, 1937, in Neptune City, New Jersey. But behind the innocent birth certificate lay a family secret that would remain buried for decades. Raised by his grandmother Ethel May and believing his mother June was his older sister, Nicholson's life began under a veil of deception. He would only discover the truth in 1974 at the height of his career, when a Time magazine journalist unearthed the secret. Jack later said, "It was a pretty dramatic event, but it wasn't what I'd call traumatizing. I was pretty well psychologically formed." Instead of spiraling, Jack embraced the strange reality. It only added to the enigma he would come to represent. Jack moved to Los Angeles in the late 1950s, hoping to break into show business. His early years were anything but glamorous. He worked as a gopher at MGM's animation department, took acting classes, and scraped by with small roles in forgettable films. Roger Corman's B-movies like The Cry-Baby Killer, 1958, became his training ground. Though success was elusive, Nicholson absorbed everything: direction, writing, production. In fact, before his acting breakthrough, he co-wrote the cult classic The Trip, 1967, starring Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper. He was not just waiting for a break, he was building himself from the ground up. Everything changed in 1969 with the release of Easy Rider. Originally cast in a small supporting role, Nicholson played George Hanson, an alcoholic Southern lawyer. With barely 20 minutes of screen time, he stole the film. His bizarre helmet scene, his stoned monologues, they were magic. Suddenly, Hollywood took notice. He earned his first Oscar nomination. More importantly, the world had found its newest anti-hero. Nicholson wasn't conventionally handsome. He wasn't polished. He was real, strange, charismatic. He represented a new kind of masculinity, unruly, flawed, yet compelling. The 1970s were a creative explosion for Jack. 5 Easy Pieces, 1970. A piano prodigy turned oil rig worker, iconic. The Last Detail, 1973. A Navy officer with a foul mouth and golden heart, Chinatown, 1974. Jake Gittes, the cynical private detective. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. His defining role as R.P. McMurphy, a performance that earned him his first Oscar. Each performance was nuanced, raw, deeply human. He wasn't acting. He was embodying broken souls, reflecting the cynicism and chaos of post-Vietnam America. Nicholson became the poster boy of New Hollywood, alongside peers like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Dustin Hoffman. But none had Jack's sheer unpredictability. While Nicholson burned bright on screen, his off-screen life was equally legendary. He lived in the Hollywood Hills, throwing infamous parties attended by the who's who of the industry. Drugs, women, music, art. His home was a shrine to 70s excess. He dated numerous women, including Angelica Houston. Their 17-year on-and-off relationship was a whirlwind of love, betrayal, and reconciliation. When it finally ended, Houston described the heartbreak with quiet dignity. Nicholson never married. He fathered 6 children with 5 different women. Yet, remarkably, scandal rarely stuck to him. Why? Because he was honest. "I'm not a conventional guy. I never pretended to be." Far from fading, Jack reinvented himself in the 1980s. The Shining, 1980. Stanley Kubrick cast Jack as Jack Torrance. "Here's Johnny, became immortal, Terms of Endearment, 1983, an aging astronaut turned lover. Oscar number 2. Batman, 1989. As the Joker, he redefined comic book villains. With a manic brilliance, in the 1990s he continued to dominate. A Few Good Men, 1992. Colonel Jessup and the infamous line, "You can't handle the truth." As Good as It Gets, 1997. A romantic comedy laced with cruelty and redemption. His third Oscar. Nicholson didn't just act. He transformed every film into a theater of tension, dark humor, and human complexity. Despite his fame, Nicholson remained one of Hollywood's most elusive figures. He avoided interviews, never used social media, and refused to play the Hollywood game. He read voraciously, painted, collected art, and watched basketball. His courtside appearances at Lakers games became legendary. Jack wasn't just an actor. He was a presence. He didn't need attention. The world looked for him regardless. Nicholson entered the 21st century with grace, humor, and undiminished brilliance. About Schmidt, 2002. A man grappling with aging and loss. Quiet, reflective, poignant. The Departed, 2006. A return to chaos as Frank Costello, a terrifying mobster. And then, silence. After How Do You Know, 2010, Jack stepped back from acting. Rumors spread of memory loss, but friends denied it. The truth? Jack was simply no longer interested in mediocre scripts. In 2013, he said, "I'm not going to work until the day I die. I want to enjoy life." Then, a wild genius with a grin like dynamite. Jack Nicholson in the 70s and 80s was a cinematic meteor, brilliant, untamed, unstoppable. He created characters that lived beyond the screen. He brought danger and depth to every role. Now, a quiet figure living in Los Angeles, far from cameras. He reads, paints, watches basketball, and spends time with his children. Occasionally spotted, often remembered, always revered. His retirement wasn't a tragedy. It was a statement. Nicholson left before the world could watch him fade. Jack Nicholson redefined what it meant to be a star. He wasn't clean-cut or commercially packaged. He was chaotic, weird, sensual, and deeply intelligent. He told the truth through fiction. He showed the madness of men with more honesty than any psychologist. And then he walked away. Today, his name remains sacred in film history. A reference point for intensity, for rebellion, for genius. Jack didn't just act in the movies. He became them. In a world of endless noise, Jack Nicholson knew when to go silent. And in that silence, his legend only grows. This was Jack Nicholson. Then and now.